Hello and welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you are a current subscriber. My name is Maggie. I am a mother of three. I have a full-time job, and in my spare time I like to do DIY projects at home to make my home a little bit nicer for myself and my family. And as you can see in this video, I am showing you my kitchen cabinets. They are in dire need of a refresh. There is peeling paint from when it was repainted after we bought it. So I guess let me take a step back. When we purchased this house, the cabinets were already painted this stark white color. And a couple years into living here, my father-in-law decided that he would repaint some of the cabinet doors, especially the heavily used ones, because they were starting to like yellow and look kind of funky. So cleaned them off and repainted them. However, I don't know what kind of paint he used, and I have a suspicion it wasn't the correct type of paint because it started peeling. And you will see that in some of the drawers, like at the top of that drawer, in the corners over here, there's like fragments of paint that is coming apart. And not to mention, they're really grimy at the top right there. They needed to be cleaned. I've cleaned them before, but not as deeply as I should have. So, and here's the drawer that really looks bad. It's just really peeling and discolored. And then the trim was in no better shape. It's very, very scratched up. So needless to say, this was due for a refresh. And these cabinets are in the back of my kitchen. So these, while they're not heavily used, they still got some wear and tear. So the first thing you'll see is these little squares that I put on the cabinets. And this is what I got from Sherwin-Williams. They sell these peel and stick swatches of color that you can put wherever you want to paint to kind of get an idea of the color you want versus buying a bunch of paint samples and painting them on. I don't know that there's a better, I don't know that there's a perfect process to go with. I found that this was easy. I just peeled them off and stuck them on, and that was that. And I cut some of them into littler squares to kind of put them in different areas in my kitchen. But obviously you don't have to do that. These are movable. You can move them any which way you want once you adhere them, and yeah, you don't have to cut them. But I just wanted to have smaller squares in different areas in the kitchen to have an idea of what I wanted. So a couple of the options, I really like these two. This is sage, and then this one is beachcomber. And yes, look, this is why we need to paint. Yeah, that's those colors, and I have them also over here. So there's two, right? The soft sage and the beachcomber. And then I have them here. And then I also have them here. I decided for the last two not to even cut them. I don't know if I should. Maybe I'll come back and cut them later. I also bought a swatch of the Sanctuary, but I think it's too light. Like, it looks almost like what we have right now, and I don't want something quite as light because, as you can tell, it's disgusting. Like, this is really bad from whatever. So yeah, I want something more taupey, more warm. And then if we turn off the lights, I really like the soft sage and the beachcomber and the natural linen. Like, I don't know. And then if we're like out here, which one would I like to see? Especially with the new rug. I bought the swatches of paint around mid-November before Thanksgiving. And because of busy schedules and work and kids and all the things, I actually didn't even start the rest of the process until much, much later. This is beginning of December. And first I'm taking off all the swatches of color, and then I am going to deep clean these cabinets. We've cleaned them before, but this for painting purposes needs to be super, super duper clean. And as I mentioned before, in the corners of the cabinet doors, there is some discoloration. I don't know if it's from something that the kids touched or I touched right after cooking, and just the stain just ended up staying on the doors. And so that is why I don't want a light color like that, because it just, I thought maybe it discolored. However, it could also be the paint that was used to repaint these cabinet doors, and it just holds on to the dirt, and it's not meant to be on the cabinets. So it could be a mixture of the two. But anyways, as you can see, I have a spray bottle filled with water and TSP. I put that together in this bottle, just sprayed it on, and then I used a brush. My husband bought this from Costco a couple of months ago, and we use it to clean the bathrooms, right, the sinks, the showers, etc. It makes it really easy versus having to scrub everything. And so I just used one of the heads to really scrub really well everywhere, and then I used a rag to clean off all of the chemicals. And I cleaned it up a couple times with a wet rag just to make sure that the chemicals were off. And then it was time to take off the doors. So I took off the doors. I did not end up taking the hinges off because they were inset, and I think they were painted around at some point, and so they were really stuck in there, and I didn't want to mess with any of that. So I just took them off, labeled each door and each crevice so I knew where the doors went back to, and then I proceeded to rough sand all of the doors. All right, sanded all of these doors, got rid of any like loose paint, making sure it's gonna be, when I paint it, it's gonna be well adhered to. And same with these. This is all sanded smooth, and same with these, all of them sanded smooth. So now I'm just gonna blow them off with this thing. Just blow off all the paint. It is so cold outside. It is 26 or 37, feels like 26, and yes, it does feel really cold. It's really windy. I am in the sunroom. If you watched my last week's video, we enclosed the screened-in porch with plastic on the outside. So while it's not like hot in here, we do have a heater going, and it is warm, especially with the sun. Like, it feels warm and cozy in here. The wind is not coming through, so it's so nice in here, but out there it's cold. So what I was trying to say out there while the wind was going crazy was I am going to blow off all the dust, and then I'm going to go inside and do some final sanding. There's two spaces that I need to sand really well because the paint is peeling, and they're like the false, what are they called? The false drawers. They're not real drawers, they just look like it. And I need to sand the paint that's kind of peeling off of them, and then I'll be able to start painting with primer. Just start painting with the primer and just move on with the project. This is the last bit of it. I'm sure I'm gonna have to sand again before I actually paint. Like, once I'm done with the primer, I imagine I'm gonna have to sand. I don't know. That's what the pros that I've been watching have been doing, but maybe I won't have to. And let me show you my little heater that we got. This is the heater that we have in here. It's super cozy, super cute. Right now you can't see the lights, but they're back there. Ooh. They're back there. Super cute. And then I went inside and started painting with the primer, and that went pretty smooth. I had a lot of primer left over from my closet built video and my closet build, and so I used that primer to prime the cabinets. The research I did say that this is an acceptable primer to use, so that was it. And here is an up close, I guess, shot of the painted cabinets. As you can see, there's a little bit of texture. It's hard to tell, but in real life I could see a little bit of texture, and I was a little bit worried about it because I had purchased a foam roller that said that it was for extra smooth surfaces. So I was worried that it wasn't going to be smooth because the texture was on the cabinets after I rolled them. But once it all dried, it actually did look pretty smooth. There were a couple of spots that had like little bubble looking things that I sanded off, but the rest, it looked really smooth, and I loved the way that it looked. And I also painted the frame around the window because I also will be painting that in the same color as the cabinets. And here is the finished product with the primer. Everything was primed minus the drawers. Those I did not sand or anything, so I left those in there. But all the rest of the doors were also not painted. They're just off. I just painted the shell, I guess, of the cabinets. Then the next day I came in and caulked the spaces in the cabinets because the pros tell me that I have to, or that I should, to make it look a little bit better. And while I was at it, I don't know if you can see in the ceiling right here, we have beadboard on the ceiling. This was installed prior to us even buying this house. I'm not sure when this was installed, but it's here, and it has started cracking in, I guess, the seams up on the ceiling. And so while I was going ahead with the caulking of the cracks in the cabinets, I also went ahead and fixed those, and that really made a huge difference visually. Here is what the ceiling looks like with all the cracks just going down the length of it, and here it is. They're being sealed, and it's I swear it's like magic. It's just you use some caulk, and I bought some good caulk, so hopefully this is going to last us a good old time. It's supposed to be anti-cracking, anti-movement, something. Not sure, but it's supposed to be really good according to the reviews and what I've read about it. It's supposed to be good. And this was so satisfying. I really enjoy seeing the process of just slapping some lipstick on a pig. Not really. This actually looks really nice. In real life, this was done probably beginning of December. It's now beginning of January because life has been busy. I have not been able to post the past couple of weeks, months. But anyways, yes, I do really enjoy this, and I have learned a lot of skills in how to make things look a lot nicer in the house, and just look out for more projects where I make things nicer in my home. Once I was done with painting the shell of the cabinets, I took myself outside into the screened-in porch and started priming the cabinet doors. This was a lot. I spent a lot of time doing this. This is just some snippets of some of the painting that I did, but I did many a nights, especially because I had to do both sides, and I was trying to strategize and see which way would be the fastest, right? Do I paint one side, let it dry, do another? It took about 2 hours just to paint one side for all the doors, and so, you know, time is limited, time is moving, and I had to get on a better, faster way to do it. So yes, it was a struggle, but well worth struggle, I think. And as you can see, I'm using all the surfaces I could in the house. Good morning, another day. I bought these little paint holders, I guess, the little paint pyramids to help with some of the edging and hopefully to help with the speed at which I'm going to paint all of these with the actual paint. So we'll see how it goes. It's horrible lighting, you can't really see, but there's like a little bit of texture on it. However, when it dries, you can see the texture, but it doesn't in real life. I don't know what that is. I need to sand it a little, but you don't really see it a lot. It looks pretty good, in my opinion. And here are the paint pyramids in action. This is the way you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to paint the back side, flip it over, paint the front, and then it cuts your time in half. So yeah, I think they worked really well, and they did make my life a little bit easier. Now this video is coming to an end. I am going to leave you with the primed kitchen, and I want you to guess what color I ended up picking for my kitchen cabinets. In my next week's video, I will be going through the painting and show you what the end result looks like. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you being here. If you like this video, please consider subscribing, give me a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next video. Have a wonderful day, and Happy New Year.